Hey everybody, if you didn't love the videos before, you're really going to love them now. We've just got the vehicle here in the workshop doing this engine replacement job, and I'm going to show you how you can completely destroy a set of tyres in no time, and then you can say, these tyres are really crap in the wet and these tyres are really noisy, I'm never going to get them again, and all this sort of talk, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, I've just had a look at all four of these tyres. We've noticed a problem with them, okay, and I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why it's happened. Probably the main one and the backup one. We're going to have a look at a couple of components on the vehicle to show you why this set of tyres has been destroyed. What do I mean by destroyed? Well, like I said, I didn't say it yet. These were all manufactured. I didn't sell them. I've never serviced the car before. I've just made an observation, and it's important information to share with you guys so you don't destroy a tyre like that in no time, okay? So these four tyres that you can see, all manufactured 31st week of 21. So I'm going to go ahead and assume he's probably replaced these tyres in late 21, so 22, 23. They're just over a couple of years old. I don't know how many Ks they've done. Let's just make stuff up here and go. Looking at them, I'm going to say they've probably only done 20, maybe 30,000 kilometres, that sort of thing. And obviously, you can see two really good tyres here, which I didn't take the wheels off the vehicle, but I'm going to tell you that I believe these are on the rear, and if they weren't on the rear, someone's changed them recently, because you can see they're perfectly flat, evenly worn, that sort of thing, right? You can't see any, it's just, let's have a good look. See that edge, no problem. You're going to have a look at this one. Yep, no worries. Maybe they've been on the front a little bit. It doesn't really bother me. They've been mainly on the rear because that's how a tyre should wear, on the front or the rear. But this vehicle that's done about 300,000 Ks round figures, there's two tyres that are completely destroyed. Have a look at that, right? And, you know, this is the sort of things that can happen to tyres, and people go, oh, you know, they're just rubbish in the wet, and those tyres are so noisy and whatever, you know. Have a look. It's got heaps of tread down the middle. The outside edge, not too bad, but it's the inside edge. It's virtually, I mean, that's down to about maybe a couple of millimetres, really badly feathered. I mean, look at that block. There's nothing left of it. Let's go and have a look at that fourth tyre. Like I said, we're doing the engine, so there's a few bits and pieces lying around. Look at the inside edge of this one. Look at that. That's just completely gone. I mean, you have to be here to see what I'm seeing. And if you have a really good look at it, you get this other issue where I'm going to just see high spot, low, you know, so you get a high and a low and you get them all feathered off. That's on the outside edge as well. Completely off its head, completely destroyed these two tyres. I mean, look, even in the middle, it's not that far from the wear indicator. Same date tyres. You want me to show you? You don't believe me? Look, there it is, 3121 on that one. I'm not going to show you all of them because I'll probably have trouble finding it. It's all on the inside, 3121. Right, that's one with good tread on it. Another one, it's around the other side. I can't be bothered, right? I've already checked that. Right, so you would agree by now that this is the best YouTube channel, so subscribe, turn the bell on, hit the like button, and now I'll tell you why it's happened, okay? So you can clearly, I just want to be really clear, two good tyres that are obviously being on the rear, and that one over there and this one here, complete rubbish, and it gives reason to people going, oh, they're terrible in the wet. You know, look at the components of their vehicle they're driving around with, the type of wheel alignment, tyre pressures, bushes that are flogged. I mean, if you've got tyres that are wearing like that, worn like that, and flogged components, you can't blame your tyres for the way it handles or how they stick. And that's why there's the majority of people that are happy with these tyres. Now, I'm not saying they're not a rip-off. I'm not saying they don't wear out twice as far as they used to, because that's what I see happening. So they're not good value for money. I'm not saying buy them. I'm just pointing out that they're a good grippy tyre off-road. They are reliable. They're overpriced now, so look for something else. I'm not sponsored by BFG. Tell you now, look for something else. Stick to the videos, wheels and tyres playlist, that sort of thing, and you'll get the right information. Now let's have a look at the vehicle at about 300,000 Ks and have a look at the components that are going to have caused all this damage. Straight to the vehicle here, you can see some nice shiny rotors. So the usual mechanic, he's really good. He can check the brakes and he can say, yep, you need brakes, and he loves selling brakes. But what can't he look at? Or what he can't look at, apparently, and he can't tell the customer that they need shock absorbers. These will be the original shock absorbers at the rear, not the biggest part of the problem. Let's go to the front. I was just pointing out that he's done the brakes, but it's still got original suspension. And if you've been watching our videos, that suspension playlist, and that video not long ago explaining about springs and you know, the shockers and how they wear out slowly and you don't notice. Let's have a look at the front here. The rotors, has he done the brakes? Okay, so these were done a little bit previous to the rears, were probably more recent. Nobody's told me this. I just make this up from what I see in front of me. But I can see the original suspension that's probably never been removed from the vehicle. Never really paid much attention. And that's not the whole problem. I'm just showing you that it's old and original at the moment. And then we'll discuss, you know, what these components being worn and not working, the effect that it has. Not because I read it in a book, not because I did an apprenticeship, not because I've worked on cars for decades, not because I've been a Prado specialist for over 10 years. It's just because of what we've seen on the Prados for, let's say, the last 10 years, the conclusions I come to. So what would I know, right? Anyway, so this original suspension, original. So that will be totally flogged. Therefore, there's an engine. Look at that, the engine's missing. Where's the engine? Hey mate, where'd you put the engine? Anyway, no engine there. And you can see the other one, original. Now, the good news about this is you can, if you want to keep the stock suspension, even though you've got a big heavy ARB bull bar here, with a massive cobweb setup with some nasty funnel web spiders in there. Right, anyway, yeah, just don't get your head dragging along those or you might end up with something on the back of your neck. Point is, these shock absorbers, cheap to replace. If that's what you want to do, I wouldn't do that. You got a heavy bull bar, I'd upgrade the springs. I'd just put the Dobinsons in, much more reliable than these little upright pins we've talked about with those little welds there. See the little weld each side, more detail in other videos. I hope you didn't miss that one. If you did, suspension playlist. It'll be everything you need to know about suspension on your Prado, your Toyota and any other cars. It's all going to be in there. And if it's another car, maybe 70, 80, 90%, maybe not everything you need to know, but 100% if you've got a Prado or a Hilux, something like that. I think there's a bit of a steering rack boot problem as well, but we'll talk about that in another video. Check that out. We're not doing an inspection here, just showing you old original flog suspension. Now, if I can risk it for the biscuit and get under this vehicle with a bit of oil dripping off things, I want to have a look at the lower control arm bushes so then we can discuss the causes, because I don't know all the causes yet, but I want to get the light on, so let's get under there. Okay, lights on. You can see those bushes there, pretty twisted, hard to tell. They look like they're a little bit out of whack. Engine stand holding the transmission up. So I could do this and have a look for you. That one doesn't look too bad. So I'm not going to blame these bushes too much yet, but we need to eliminate things. There's a couple of possible causes. These front ones could be flogged, hard to tell. Not as bad as some of the other ones we've seen. Oh yeah, they are. Look at that, right? So that's what I'm looking for. See all that? That's mincemeat in there. All right, so let's talk about what's caused. All right, so how's this engine going? Yeah, not too bad. That's looking a lot better than the last one. Yeah, okay. Oh no, look, there's a whole heap missing off this side still. All right, let's keep going. Let's get this done. All right, so you've seen the damage. You've got all the factors there. So you can adjust your tyre pressures. You can get a wheel alignment. You can get all the wheel alignments you want. And you're still going to have that same problem because it's caused by old flogged worn bushes and old flogged suspension. Now, it's got airbags in the back. It's a Kakadu. It's got coil springs in the front. Springs are for life if you're happy with the height of the vehicle and if you're happy with the ride as far as the springs go. But as I was explaining in other videos, I'm not going to waste too much time on it. The spring is a spring. What do springs do? Boing, boing, boing. You'd be bouncing down the road without a shock absorber or a dampener, right? So, you know, that thing there, its job is to control that spring, and there shouldn't be too much bounce. I'm not going to go into too much detail. But if you're bouncing down the road, it's going to cause some of that feathering every second tread. We see it a lot on, we see it more on Hiluxes and with mud tyres and that, where you've got the big blocks every second block. It's usually going to be flogged, those struts or shock absorbers flogged, and it's usually on the front, and it's quite often that, or combination worse with those lower control arm bushes when they're flogged, the actual arm, right? Because they're not held tight. When you accelerate, the wheel goes back. The wheel pulls forward. When you put the brakes on, it pulls back. And then, of course, the wheels go out like that. And then, you know, it's feathering, it's wearing on the inside. Plus, you've got the suspension over bumps. And it's just an absolute disaster, is all I need to say. Because you've seen the tyres, and that was an expensive set of tyres in late 2021, I'm going to take a guess, that they would have probably cost, 70 series they are too, aren't they? I reckon they were probably close to $400 worth of tyres then. So that's $1,600 worth of tyres that half of them are totally flogged. Okay, it's only half of them, I suppose. But the problem you got is you could have got so much more life out of them and they'd be looking just like the other two if somebody spent some money on the shock absorbers here, which the mechanics, the technicians, you people, whoever it is that aren't watching the videos, need to watch the videos so that you can understand these things and make the right recommendations to your customers to make sure the right components get replaced. With the lower control arms here, they are a different arm to your standard GX, GXL, that sort of thing, because it's got KDSS. So be careful when you're buying arms. If you're just going to put arms in there, a lot of people go for aftermarket arms. There's quite a lot of issues with those, but you can get lucky, depends what you get. You know, we're trialing some of those. Of course, you can get the genuine bushes and just change the bushes, whatever suits you. I think we're no longer going to be supplying the lower control arms because they're not really supporting it because of how expensive they are. If you really want a set, let me know in advance. I'll organise them for you so you can get them a bit cheaper. But yeah, we're not going to keep them in stock like we were. We're going to be more into, we're developing, changing the bushes and trying a lot of reputable, cheaper brand replacement arms, which we've got in one of our vehicles in testing at the moment. And to be quite honest, you wouldn't really know the difference to genuine driving, but we need to obviously get it up on the hoist regularly, get some Ks on it, and some other vehicles doing the same thing. So long story short, tyre pressure is going to have a part of it. Wheel alignment certainly does control a lot of wear in general if your components are in check. If you've got tyres that look like that, or you're concerned that your tyres get noisy soon, I've only been driving 10,000 Ks and they're all noisy, that sort of thing. This is probably why you need to look at all your rubbers, not just, I'm saying lower control arm bushes because it's a common one and we've just demonstrated and shown you one of those. I can see the suspension's old and flogged. I don't need to bounce the car. I know it's absolute rubbish, okay? This suspension is actually, it is good stuff. So I'll be happy if they want to keep everything how it is and just change the shockers, the struts. You can get them genuine at a reasonable price. I think they're cheaper than the GXL ones last time I checked. Probably because they don't sell many because they've got the adjustability thing on them. So they're a bit harder to change. A little bit more work there because you've got to get to those little Allen-key things up on top, the one at the back covered in dirt like this vehicle, see, you know, like it's just old, rusty, dirty, hard. So it's, you know, no fixed price on that job. It's, you know, it's just see how long it takes, but it's going to be whatever it's going to be. I think that covers it. So you need, you know, I just want to say it again. I would say 100, depends how you use it, 100 to 150,000 Ks on the factory shockers. Suspension specialists recommend every 80,000. I think you're a bit better than that. It's a bit of old news when the quality was a bit lower. We quite often see them at about 150 and they're still working okay. Certainly a set that's new is going to be better than a 150,000 K set. How long's a piece of string? There's no absolute, it's okay now and it's not. It's a slow thing that happens slowly. So I'd recommend, yeah, about every 150. Every 10 years, if you haven't done 150, is probably a good option as well. Obviously the aftermarket, the Dobinson stuff's good quality. You know, Tuesday mornings from this video onwards, if you like, Tuesday mornings we'll start doing Dobinson suspension again. We're not pushing it hard, that's why we don't do it a lot of the time, like all the parts thing. We're here to help. If you want to make sure you only get brand new injectors, then you only get them from me. Monday morning, 7:30 AM text, right? If you want to get the BFE kit, you get it from me. I invented it, that's what the kit is. Bada bing, bada boom, simple as that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, turn the bell on, all that stuff if you want so you don't miss the next one. And we'll catch you on the next video. Ciao.